Welcome to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. I'm your host, Dave West, codename Phantom Troublemaker.
I am your co-host, Noel Wood, codename Crapshoot.
And I'm your Cobra intern who can't figure out if he's just a repaint or not. Codename Legion Cub.
We've got some big repaint news coming up in just a minute here. All right. Follow us on Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast and on X at G.I. Joe Audible. And also be sure you're following us wherever you listen to your podcasts, whether it's Spotify or iTunes or whatever the deal is. Click the little follow or subscribe or whatever button and leave us a review. Those reviews help us out big time. And while you're at Audible Interlude Podcast, on Instagram, be sure you check out the pinned stories and you can see the t-shirts that we have available, including the Audible Interlude Tactical Shovel t-shirt designed by our partner Shop Slickalicious. Check out Shop Slickalicious on Instagram and gijive.com. audiblearmy.com is where you want to go for the full Audible Interlude experience. $1.99 a month. There is only one tier, and that gets you my show notes before each episode is released, early and ad-free access to all audio episodes, exclusive video access to recordings of audio episodes, early access to all G.I. Joe reviews on the Needless Things YouTube channel, and G.I. Joe adjacent reviews, the opportunity to vote on content for the show, early access to Audible Interlude merch, and more. So check out audiblearmy.com. We have hats. Brand new hats that I thought I had sitting next to me. They're even nicer than this hat. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I can do better than showing you the hat. I can put the hat up on the screen right there. That is the brand new Audible Interlude hat. Hit us up at Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram if you are interested in a hat. We'll hook it up over there because there's not really a good way to sell stuff online unless you're selling Toylanta. No, unless you're selling T-shirts, which you can find at TeePublic. We have a wide range of selections and styles, and you can get the design on a coffee mug or a cell phone case or any number of other things. So check us out, Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram. Those pinned stories will tell you where to go. And then finally,
cases and things like that too.
Yes, yeah. Anything, toilet paper, duvet covers. No, I'm just kidding. Those last two are not actually true. And no, I'm not pursuing Audible Interlude duvet covers because the tactical shovel is giving me enough trouble as it is. Although a duvet cover may be easier to do.
I mean, you're just putting it on. Shovel. Yeah, it's just flat. Yeah, flat material.
We might be able to make that happen.
Yeah, let TeePublic do it. I'm sure they can.
If you would like to see us live, attend Toylanta March 22nd through 24th at the Peachtree Hilton outside of Atlanta, Georgia. It is a fantastic toy show. We will be doing a live episode at 12:30 on March the 23rd, and that will be your opportunity to be among the first to get an Audible Interlude itty bitty ditty bag. That's right. We have free. These will be completely free. We will have itty bitty ditty bags full of Audible Interlude goodies that we are giving out at the panel. So we've got plenty of them for Toylanta. We'll have plenty of them for Joe Fest and probably Dragon Con as well, because of course you can't just print 10 of something. You have to print like 1 billion. So be sure and hit us up for the Audible Interlude itty bitty ditty bag. We got some folks in the chat hanging out. Michael Jean Fleming, good morning. Good morning. Where are you, Michael Jean, to be telling us good morning? Rachel Salinas in the house. Wreckship 85, Action J, Daniel Rodriguez, Craig Dukas. Everybody check out Shop Slickalicious and G.I. Jive. And Toy Reclaimer is hanging out here as well. And Toy Reclaimer cracked the, I think it was you that cracked the secret code on my rapid fire review. Rickship 85, I got to get Sergeant Slaughter. to sign my itty bitty ditty bag. That's a good call, actually. I hadn't even really thought about that. So yeah, hit us up at Joe Fest, get your itty bitty ditty bag, and get Sarge to sign it because he will be there, which we'll be talking a little bit more about that in a minute. So Needless Things YouTube channel, that's where you are right now. That's where we appear doing these live streams about every other week. Speaking of which, our next live stream will be on March the 17th. We will be doing a St. Patrick's Day themed. I'm just kidding. I don't know if it'll be St. Patrick's Day. We actually only decided for sure about 10 minutes ago that was going to be the day. So this is a Sunday. The 17th is because we cannot do it on that Monday. So it's going to be a little different day. But March 17th, mark it on your calendar.
The good news is most of the G.I. Joe team members wear green, so they don't get pinched. On the 17th.
That's true. Very concerned about get pinched by the bat claw. That's actually right. If you didn't know, that's what the bat's claw is for pinching on St. Patrick's Day. And that's it. They don't use it for anything else, despite what you might think. Right here on the Needless Things YouTube channel, tomorrow my review of the 112 Collective Snake Eyes goes up, finally. And the price finally came down on the Crimson Strike team. So I broke down, I ordered it, and my review will go up on Thursday for that. But if you're a member at audiblearmy.com, you have access to both of those reviews right now. But don't go watch them right now. Stay with us and watch the live stream. Then go watch the reviews. Let's see. Duke number 3, we're going to be doing a review very, very soon. That'll go up first at audiblearmy.com and then wherever you get your podcasts. And then finally, this is really exciting. I kind of lost my mind a little bit over this. Guys, did you see this?
Yes.
So I have never done one of these custom classes at Joe Fest before. But this is awesome. They are going to supply the parts to convert a classified Sergeant Slaughter into the Cobra Warlord. And from the looks of it, you get a beret, the vest, and okay, so there's a beret, there's a vest, there's a World Championship Cobra belt, which to me alone is worth the price of admission. And then it looks like he's got a unique gun there as well.
I feel like that belt needs to go on your CM Punk action figure.
Yeah, but so today I signed up for this class.
Oh, cool.
Before I realized it's 5 hours and it starts at 10 a.m. on Friday.
5 hours?
So I will be making sure I can secure all of these parts because I don't think I'm going to have the time. Well, I don't think we'll even be in Augusta by 10 a.m. on Friday. But it's worth it just to get the parts for the thing. I'm going to talk to the folks doing it. It's actually one of the people behind Grindhouse Toys. Chris Scott is heading the class. And if you remember, I got that VHS figure that they put out last year, and it's fantastic. So I'm really excited. Daniel Rodriguez, are they selling you a timeshare in Springfield? It's entirely possible, and I probably would have signed up for it.
But is anybody else surprised that Sergeant Slaughter is already turning traitor? I mean, he did it.
Boo!
During the war.
I called it. I called it a few weeks ago.
He's doing it now. I mean,
boo. Wreckship85 says it seems like it's 5 hours because you got to pop and boil the legs and swap them. I don't know if like painting is involved. I don't know what. I mean, for 5 hours. But this is a great looking figure. I mean, I'm pretty stoked about this thing. I just need to do a little more research and find out what's going to go into it. And I think there were only 50 slots in the class. So the bottom line is these parts are very, very, very limited. And to get a Cobra World Championship belt, it was, again, a no-brainer for me. I had to do it. All right. Ooh, that opens everything up. I'm spent, you guys. Let's just call this a night.
Yeah, there was no news last week, so
no news really. Nothing
kind of weak.
Nothing really to talk about. Actually, before we get directly to the news, I wanted to ask you guys if you'd noticed something. So I've been in Targets in the morning a couple of times lately, and I have noticed that the self-checkouts are closed off. They are operational and green lit, but they're barred off and they will not let you use them. And you have to go wait in line and talk to a human.
I've read something that, going back last year, a lot of Targets were limiting self-checkout to very limited numbers. Like they were really strictly enforcing the 10 items or less policies because of shrinkage issues.
Sure.
So
well, it's been cold out.
Yes. I'm sure that is that's the same issue that's kind of behind this as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
well, and you know what? That's a good point because during the day, I'm sure they've got less staff in there, less people available to observe the self-checkout. It's probably more likely that people are doing things like going up with a date-locked item, scanning something else, and walking out with it. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that goes, but I don't like it because I don't need to be talking to Target employees at 8:30 in the morning. That's just not part of my routine. All right, now it's time for actual news. And before we get to the Joe stuff, we do have an update from our pals over at Callsign Longbow. Lots of action going on with all these Kickstarters that kind of got the pause button during the Lunar New Year. Callsign Longbow has an update as well. The end of the month update for February of 2024. They are back in gear. They revealed some art for the Retro Ops Trooper, which I unfortunately do not have for our slideshow right now. They mentioned that the Skeletron Wolf Trooper temporarily sold out, which we know. Future availability, fueled solely by your support and shares, we very unexpectedly ran out of stock on the Retro Trooper in mere days, and our Wolf Trooper and Gyro Wolf stock is actually the 4-inch Wolf Trooper has since sold out temporarily. But have no fear, we have a second, albeit much smaller inventory of Retro Troopers on the way. They will arrive in early March. And then Grindstone Toys will be at Joe Fest. They will be at the DFW G.I. Joe and Action Figure Show in Grapevine, Texas. So check out Grindstone Toys, not to be confused with Grindhouse Toys, wherever you visit your toy makers live, I guess. All right, now it is time to talk about the G.I. Joe live stream. To open things up, we got some name reveals. And this is one I'm pretty excited about because I only recently read this story arc for the first time when I was doing my reread into catching up on Real American Hero. But maybe Noel, you or Kristian can tell me a little bit more about our pal, the Saw Viper.
Go for it, Noel.
Well, Saw Vipers in general, they're another Cobra Trooper. But this Saw Viper, well, boy, did he wreck some things in an issue of G.I. Joe: A Real American Hero. Took
lots of murders,
a whole lot of Joes, including Breaker, Quick Kick, a whole bunch of them.
Doc.
Yeah, Doc.
Wreckship 85 says Doc and Quick Kick are trembling in the factory overseas already.
So whether or not this Saw Viper is going to be based on just kind of your standard Saw Viper look, or if they're going to kind of lean into this, I don't know if they're going to do a cigarette.
Probably not with the cigarette
line.
Although I'm sure Gridiron will have a cigarette accessory you can strap to his face or something.
Yeah, so, and of course, this same character wound up showing up later on in some IDW comics as well. Or was it? No, it was Devil's Due, I believe. They brought him back. So, but yeah, this was one of the mini troopers that was long after I was collecting as a kid. So it's not something that is true to my heart. But depending on what it looks like, this might be one I might have to get, if only just to represent the one Saw Viper from the comic.
Look, show me a purple trooper and I'm going to hand you some money. But yeah, after reading that story arc in the comics, I definitely want this scumbag who I cannot believe they had the nerve to kill him off panel. Although I guess he didn't technically die if he shows back up in Devil's Due. But yeah, it would be nice if they had a way of doing it as a troop builder and doing it as a singular character. Like maybe they include a fully encased helmet so you can have this look, but also maybe an updated, troop builder type helmet. I think that'd be a good idea. And Hasbro loves their troop builders. Rachel Salinas asks, will the Saw Viper come with the mega gun or something slightly smaller? I mean, aside from Roadblocks, that first crazy thing he came with, we haven't seen a lot of gigantic firearms in classified. Like, I guess the ram cannon counts as one, and then heavy artillery roadblock. But really, we haven't seen any of these big, almost science fiction-y looking heavy artillery guns. I'd like to see something a little bigger here. Rockship 85, hopefully the gun is twice the size of the figure like the OG Real American Hero 3.75-inch figure. I would love to see that, especially if they could figure out a way to make it reasonable. Like maybe if they make it like the Stormtrooper cannons from A New Hope. Or was it New Hope or Empire? I guess
Empire.
It's Empire when they're putting them together. Yeah.
The E-webs.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Nerd. We also got a name drop for Dial Tone, and we all know which dial tone I need.
Hey, they're getting the band together. One day you'll have all of them.
I know.
They can do that repaint.
We've got name drops for Leather.
Do you guys think, based off of what they said, that he's going to be, that they were hinting that he's going to be a deluxe? Because I don't see it, but when I did my second watch, just to make sure I remembered correctly, they do make a comment that he, besides a satellite backpack.
Whoa! Oh my gosh! Kristian just had a stroke.
Yeah.
Send help.
Send dial tone. But he is coming with a lot of extra gack that will make sense.
He said lots of things to fidget with.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking maybe like they're actually going to put little panels and stuff on his gear to mess with.
Okay.
I don't know that I see him being like a deluxe figure or anything. Oh, yeah. Let's address this real quick. Wreckship 85. I really want that huge backpack, but I can see them doing that for the retro release. Hey, well, guess what? I can't, because we've got some news on that front, don't we? So Wotaj is here, says somebody else still has a landline phone. Rachel Salinas.
No, someone here still has Spectrum Internet.
What's a dial tone?
Yeah.
And Craig Dukas, Dial Tone's backpack is going to be a glorified iPhone satellite antenna cradle. I think these things are all likely. Yeah, more on this retro thing in a minute. And then finally, the Frag Viper, who I'm not overly familiar with, again, kind of past our time, but I do like, it looks like he's got a little high-ally set up to throw grenades with.
I hope they update him, because he's just such a boring looking figure.
What are you talking about? Look at all those weird straps and his insect helmet.
Look at the original figure, just the solid brown with just the metal helmet. I don't know. This is one of the first Cobra troops that I'm like,
Yeah, and it may not be this version, because weren't there later Frag Vipers that had a little more color? Maybe not. I'm looking right now. I don't know that I see much else. Huh. It'll be interesting to see what they do here.
Yeah.
And I do not want all of those straps to be separate little pieces that every time you touch the figure wiggle all over the place. But then we've got more concrete news, or not concrete, but more visual news. There was talk about Skybound, which was cool. I really like that we're seeing the synergy, if you will, between Hasbro and Skybound, and how excited
we got a lot of when we were reading that last Cobra Commander comic.
Yes,
there's
absolutely.
definitely they're definitely pushing some characters.
Yeah, check out our last audio episode, which is a review of Real American Hero 304 and Cobra Commander number 2. Cobra Commander number 2, definitely we got some classified looks, I'll say. Speaking of classified looks, the eel is here still.
Hey, he comes with a stand.
Yeah, well, more on the stands in a minute too. I gotta say, and look, we love classified, and however they need to make money to keep the line going, great, let's go. But man, what a disappointment this is.
I had that Simpsons moment where Mr. Smithers is like, "Look, Malibu Stacy has a new hat," and everyone goes crazy. Like, what's different here?
It's literally the strap on that lousy harpoon gun is blue instead of red. That's it.
Yeah, I'm getting the Pam Beasley. They're the same picture meme.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to tell from this render. It looks like maybe the chest is a little bit more brighter red, but that's not.
That's not what we were looking for.
That's not what we were looking for. No.
So this is, I'll be honest, this is just straight up a pass for me. There's nothing here to like. I wanted the backpack. I wanted the double-headed harpoon gun. Yeah, and you know what, Blitz, thank you. Blitz 0065, thank you for the positivity. I'm personally excited about a retail priced eel. Love the design. And you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. It's good that it's going beyond just Amazon exclusive. It's good that it's not a deluxe. It's going to be a regular price figure. Blitz, you are 100% correct. This is a good thing. It's just, we shouldn't let what we wanted get in the way of recognizing that this is still a good release.
Well, and that's why companies like Gridiron exist, because I mean, I'm definitely going to get one, and then I'm just going to get the third-party parts to make it look the way I do.
And I think Mark II Design, which is where I got the kit that I got, I think they're out of the business now. Like, they're actually doing injection molded accessories. I think all they've got left up on their Etsy store is the gun, the harpoon gun. So yeah, there is the eel. Now hold on, because there's more. The snow serpent.
Now,
which
I love this.
The colors are much better. And
it's not a deluxe.
Right. Again, it's a retail price point. I do like this backpack a lot more. It's not quite what we wanted, but this is one I will definitely buy at least one of, because it's more in line with what I wanted from the Snow Serpent than the deluxe one that we got.
Yeah, this, I mean, I would have loved to have had the little rocket and everything as well, but this is fine. You know, this is a nice update, and these are colors that are better for me. Like I said, I had two of the regular release ones, and I canceled them just because I was like, well, I don't want to spend $35 for a figure that's just not checking the boxes for me.
Right.
But this is an easy. I mean, this is an easy buy. I'll buy probably two of these.
Yeah, it's in much brighter whites, brighter blues. Visually, this just pops more, and I dig it.
Yeah.
Scale Model Joe's making a really good point here. The bad accessory loadouts of the 2000s Joe's helped get Marauders Gunrunners on its feet. Classified is doing the same for Gridiron. It's almost like a conspiracy. Kristian, how do you feel about this guy?
I've seen a lot of the chatter, and yes, I'm missing the rocket launcher more than I am the gun, but I like him. I mean, the snowshoes, that's what snowshoes today look like. I wasn't expecting the tennis racket. So yeah, I mean, I totally plan on getting 2 of him. And I like the brighter blue.
Wotaj asks, is that a soft goods color? No, it's not. That's just sculpted on. Yeah, I'm agreeing with Craig Dukas and Blitz. The tennis racket snowshoes would have been visually more fun. But as Kristian said, this is what snowshoes are. So this makes sense. And then we've got our retro beachhead, which look at that beautiful contrasting camo, that bright green.
And the dumb green weapons are back.
See, the green weapons didn't, I don't know, they just didn't bother me. I don't know. That wasn't a problem for me.
Yeah, I was never a fan of the green weapons, and especially considering that he was pretty much the only one who had that. Yeah,
it is a weird choice.
Yeah.
So with this guy, are the colors too bright?
No. This is the beachhead I wanted.
I'm just glad we've got some nice contrasting camo in there. And he comes with a couple of grenades, which is new. Yeah, I'm looking at the green weapons. They don't bother me a bit. I don't know why. Just not a problem. The green weapons don't bother me as much as the tan weapons.
Mm.
Next up, the Ferret with the Cobra Scout figure. And we can see the Ferret. We talked about, like, proportionally, it seemed really, really weird in some of the first art we saw. Looks great here.
Yeah. And I love the fact they just went with a new troop builder for this.
Yes.
Rather than trying to wedge something else in there, because we all speculated, well, what would they use? We didn't want it to be a single figure, because then you could only really buy one or get a duplicate figure. But I think this is a good choice, doing something, a new one, a new female figure, cool design that still kind of fits in with the aesthetic of some of the other stuff they've been doing. I quite like it.
And if you really want to, you can buy a few of them, order some Dreadnought stickers from Toy Hacks, throw them on there, have some rides for your Dreadnoughts, because I just don't know if I buy. And chat, you're hanging out. Folks in the chat, tell us, do you think Hasbro will make Dreadnought motorcycles? And I'm not talking about like the Dreadnought trike thing. I'm talking about just sort of regular-ish motorcycles for the Dreadnoughts, because I don't think they will.
I think if they were going to, they would have already done it, because they haven't done vehicles without figures yet. So unless they're going to do it in some sort of new retro style wave later on, where they reissue them. But our motorcycles we've gotten thus far with Breaker and the Baroness and Duke.
Yeah. Wotaj says it really needs a not a step. Look closer. No step right there on the back. So it does have the no step figure. Rachel Salinas, how many of y'all are going to buy extra Ferrets for your Dreadnoughts, Crimson Twins, or Storm Shadow and Firefly? Depending on the price point, I mean, I would love to have a couple, but also space. With these vehicles, space is really becoming an issue.
I'm imagining this will be the same price as the MMS.
Yeah,
was just now $79.99
at least,
or $74.99.
Yeah, because it's not going to be as much as the Vamp for sure. So you're probably right. It'll probably hit that $74.99 price point.
Yeah.
That
was the price of the Trouble Bubble too, wasn't it? Or was that?
No, the Trouble Bubble was 50. Well, it was 55 for the regular one and 45 for the Python Patrol.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be beautiful if this could hit the Trouble Bubble price, but I don't know. I don't think so. It looks like it looks more substantial to me, but maybe not.
I'm thinking MMS pricing.
If it's Trouble Bubble price, I will absolutely get 2. But we'll see. Again, space is going to be a problem too, because you got to think about how wide this thing is going to be. It's a smaller vehicle for classified, but it's still a large vehicle. Like this is going to be the size of a vamp, like an original vamp.
Regular, yeah.
Mm.
All right, moving right along. We got a lot of information now. We've already talked about these pre-orders a little bit, but we got some new art. We got final figure details. We got a better look at a lot of things on here. Let's start with Doc, our final look at the Doc figure. They brought him out. They put him on the Lazy Susan and spun him around. I think the stretcher looks awesome. I'm glad it is kind of what we thought it was going to be. It folds up. It plugs into his back. He does not apparently come with the gloved hands anymore. And it looks like the medical bag was actually referencing one of those little pouches that plugs into his vest. But I still love this figure. I actually think the tan that we're looking at right here looks better than what was in the render. It's a little lighter and looks a little more like the original figure. In the render, it was a little darker. It didn't look quite right to me.
I could have done without the removable glasses. That's my own nitpicks.
I love in the one photo, he's like all crouched down. I think he's shooting the flare gun, but
is it
he
this
also
photo?
nicely set his glasses right, in the safety zone by a big rock. Like,
oh, okay, you're talking about a different one.
Yeah, one of the ones they posted to socials. Well, I was like, oh yeah.
I don't mind removable glasses at all, as long as they fit as well as Sergeant Slaughter's or the two pairs of glasses that came with the Crimson Strike Baroness that are the rigid plastic that basically clip onto the face and stay put. But the rubber glasses like Buzzard came with are just not acceptable. So if Doc has some nice rigid glasses, great. Although his will tuck under his helmet too. So either way, it won't be as big an issue as Buzzard's were for a lot of people. So he's got his taser, his flare gun, lots of interchangeable stuff. I'm curious to see what's under the vest and if the vest is easily removable. But I like it. I like his portrait. I think he looks great. And then we got to see nice little piece of art. Little smirky Doc, looking almost a little Ernie Hudson right here. And then this is the image that's on the back of the box. And I think I might be wrong, but do you guys feel like this is the first time Hasbro has shared these art images like this? The art that's on the side of the box and then the back of the box diorama or renderama, I guess you'd call it. I don't remember them sharing this stuff specifically before.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Yeah.
But very, very excited for Doc. He's one of my top Joe characters, and I'll be very glad to have him on the classified shelf. Also up for pre-order was the Night Creeper. Who wants to talk a little bit about the Night Creeper here and our better look at it?
Well, this is a character that was in the Obi-Wan series. Oh, no, the Boba Fett series. I keep getting my Star Wars series mixed up. This is... I'm actually really surprised at how close they went to the original Night Creeper look for this one.
Yeah, I'm excited that we're seeing, and granted, this wasn't that late in the line, but it definitely, if you're mainly an 82 to 87 person, this design stands out as being different from what we grew up with, and I like it for that. I like seeing it in classified, and I have to make a correction. If you remember when we first saw the render on this one, I was furious that he had little loops on his belt for his swords so the blades would stick out and cut his legs open when he ran. Those are for the daggers. His swords actually go into the backpack. So that is a massive improvement, in my opinion.
He's got quite a loadout on this one too. Him and Doc both. They're not skimping on the accessories on these figures.
Yes, absolutely.
Which I presume this is also not a deluxe. I wouldn't think it is.
No, this is a regular mainline release.
That's right. No, yeah, that's right, because they've already done the pre-order for this one.
Yeah. So yeah, this one looks awesome. I will get at least 2 because I want to use the version 2 head on this. And I would hope they did the version 2 head and plan to do that one in the brighter colors. Like the head's already done. So they can
maybe they'll do a
proceed.
retro that's in the brighter colors.
Oh my gosh, that would be. Think about some of those like 90s figures just on retro cards. They're bright, crazy colors. Give me a nice weapon sprue in there. I'm all in.
Oh, come on. Let's not deke around today.
Oh, don't. We'll talk about macaque later. Once again, got some cool art. Although the sword's looking a little short compared to what's in the image there. But I like seeing this art just close up, being able to sit back, take a look at it. And then here is the renderama from the back of the box, where you've got the one standing on what looks like the Statue of Liberty, and then the other one climbing up in the background. Nice shot. Looks cool.
There you go. That's the next classified HasLab Statue of Liberty playset.
Statue of Liberty.
Yes.
Yes. Rexship 85. I really hope bright pink Ninja Force packaging happens in classified series. Look, if they're going to do the retro card stuff, maybe do like they did with Star Wars, where they do a like Comic-Con, like they release the figures at mass market retail or whatever, but then they do Comic-Con versions that have the Ninja Force packaging. Like it's the same figure, but you get special packaging. So that way it's not a deluxe that's going to be a pain to get. Not that anything from Comic-Con or HasCon or whatever it is, PulseCon, have been difficult to get. But I think that's a good idea. Do some cool special packaging like that. You can. Rachel Salinas says you can roast 7 marshmallows at a time with that sword. I believe that's a fact. Torch. So, as is often the case, I think the final figure looks much better than the render that we saw. Kristian?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, good. I'm happy.
I feel much better about him. I still don't. The face is more expressive in the real figure than what the render was. I still don't think it has quite as much personality as Buzzer or Ripper, but everything else about him adds to it. Like when I saw the flames coming out of the eyes of the skull.
Oh, I love it.
Come on, that's great.
Yeah, the renders. We really need to, as we're discussing renders when they get revealed, we really do need to remember that they're just, here's what it's going to look like-ish. And we're lucky the classified ones look as good as they do, because if you follow wrestling figures at all, Mattel's WWE renders, every single one of them looks like it's doing this. They all have these like giant blocky heads with no necks. Like the renders are not good. But then you see the final figure and they still have the ridiculous like long legs that all Mattel WWE figures have for some reason. But like overall, they're proportioned much better than the renders are. The details are carried out better. And classified, it suffers from that a little bit too. The renders aren't quite capturing the depth and the real profile of the final product. And those flame effects look absolutely fantastic. And again, regular price figure.
And I'm glad they pointed out that the flame effects are a more rigid plastic. Because, I mean, not that Marvel Legends has effects that are quite that large, but all of the gun effects I have for Marvel Legends are like the soft gummy plastic, and that made me nervous. So I was like, oh, okay, this is good. I know in my heart of hearts, Lenny was telling the truth when he said they purposefully spelled not wrong because Torch would be stupid. But man, was that giving me Toy Guru PTSD for reverse shoulders.
Yeah, that was
I was like, ooh.
Awkward. But still, looks fantastic. The only thing is, I still can't not see Mindbender's boots, and I really don't like it. And they're not that far off of what Torch's boots look like. If we had not seen them on Mindbender, I don't think they would bother me as much. But they just look, I don't know, I still think I'm going to have to swap those out. If there's an alternate boot that's tall enough, and that the peg will fit on. Who knows how swappable the boots are in this line. Like, I know people have done it, but who knows how universal those pegs are. We will find out, because it's something I need to know. Oh, something I completely forgot to mention earlier. Everybody be sure and stick around to the end of the show, because we will be giving away a copy of the Toy Collector's Wish Book, Volume 1. Stick around. We will be giving a copy of this book away. I did a really good job of getting that over on social media and earlier in the show. I'm really on fire tonight, everybody. Much like Torch.
Right.
All right. Moving right along, little Torch art where you can get a really good look at the idea behind this skull on the front of his blowtorch, which is fantastic.
I like that they really leaned into his face is definitely modeled after Lemmy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean they so much as admitted it during the live stream.
And notice
glasses stay on
in the background. The motorcycle. Just something to think about, because the other Dreadnoks had the drum kit behind them.
It's not a motorcycle; it's a chopper, baby.
Who said? And that's a pretty cool motorcycle design, and one that is toyetic enough to maybe be something. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe, it's Comic-Con exclusive. You sell those as a 3-pack.
Oh man, that would be great. Maybe even make up a new Dreadnought. Or how about Thrasher? Because who knows what they're going to do with a Thunder Machine or not.
Yeah, they've decided that Thrasher is no longer associated with the Thunder Machine.
Right. So maybe Thrasher as the Dreadnoks mechanic or something, and he comes with 3 motorcycles that he works on for the Dreadnoks. Something like that. They like their storytelling. That's a story. Okay, so yeah, Torch, very exciting. Then we'll have our 3 on the shelf very soon. Jinx. This figure looks incredible.
Yeah.
Kristian, where are you on the Jinx judgment?
It's one of the best face sculpts on a female figure that we have had. Just please let the toy god smile down on her when the factory is doing the makeup, that we don't get another cover girl. Or you can just wear her, hooded head the whole time.
That's true. But imagine the hooded head with just a ton of eyeliner, all blotted around the eyes. Ugh. But no, this one
also,
looks really...
I want, with the blindfold, I'm wondering if Jinx is going to do speedrun videos on YouTube. Is that how she makes her money as an influencer?
I think the Joes all have side hustles these days.
They do.
You got to monetize your hobbies to get by in society now. Don't know anything about that.
I've only been doing that for 20 years.
Nice little piece of art. Oh, and I'll be curious to see Jinx's height in comparison to the other figures. Because we no longer get the back of the box doesn't have the little height thing anymore. So I'll be interested to see if she's a little bit shorter or what, because she looks like she's kind of tall, but it's just, I think, how lean she is. But her arms look a little thicker than some of the other classified females' arms.
Well, yeah, I mean, I imagine she's a little bit more muscular than most other characters.
Jeff Butler says she wears the blindfold when she has to face classified Falcon.
That's true on multiple levels.
Rachel Salinas says they need side hustles to afford all their tattoos. It's true.
Yeah, that's what we missed on our last episode when we did our Create-A Joe and Cobra.
Oh, the Joe tattoo artist.
The Joe tattoo artist.
Yeah. And then we've got the, similar to what was in the movie with the blindfold on in front of the practice staffs. Cool little scene there.
Yeah, that was of all of these figures, that was the one that I was like, that's the must-have.
And then Gnawgahyde. With what when we got this picture, we were having to debate whether that was a comb over, which I wish it was.
Same here.
I'm double disappointed because I thought it was a comb over, and I thought he had like what's the term for this fringe, whatever?
It's just bald.
The horseshoe.
Yes, the horseshoe, but it's a tattoo over there. Which, look, of course, the scarring is cool, the tattoo is cool, but if he had the straight up like horseshoe with a comb over, that would have put him over the top.
Honestly, I think that would have given him more personality. It's not that I don't like the scarring because the original figure didn't have it. I still, even after watching the live stream, I don't think it looks like scarring. It's like you just randomly have these 3 scratches on the top of your head, but nowhere else on your body.
I think it'll look better in hand. But yeah, it would have been nice. Well, here's the problem, though. Yes, it would have been nice to put scars all over his body, but he is all reused parts.
Yeah.
So then that would have been new tooling.
Don't put the scars on his head because they're covered by the hat anyway.
Yeah, mine's going to be displayed with a hat on, so it won't.
I just think it's a nice little detail. Doesn't bother me at all.
No, I don't mind.
I'm going to be putting the macaque on his head because I want the comb over.
Now you could go in there with a fine paintbrush and turn those scars into a comb over.
Like the tattoo sort of makes sense because all the dreadnoughts definitely are tattoo heavy. Me personally, I always find head tattoos to be tragic. So I am contemplating when I get him of removing the side head tattoo. And then I could just paint on a comb over.
I'll be interested to see the finished product that you come up with.
Take some acetone to him and clear all that up.
But I love this guy. I think he is, despite heavy parts reuse, a very unique looking character. And of course, his animal companions are tremendous. And they did the machete arm. I wasn't sure if they would just give him, which I know this was cleared up last time around. But, when you hear Gnawgahyde and you think classified, entirely possible that they would just give him a regular machete and not even care about it being the clip-on piece. And that makes me excited for the potential of other weird things like that. Like once we get Ninja Zartan, hopefully he'll have the weird sideways knife sheaths on his thigh.
Wait, you're worried about ninjas cutting their legs up when they run off the sides? And you want Zartan to have those 2 swords that cross his other leg?
Absolutely. He won't be able to run. Well, he can't. That's the whole thing. He can't run with that setup. So he's going to be fine. He has to just hop around.
That's so great.
It is, and it's very different from the other art, and it makes me think that some of this was produced at different times, because if you compare his art to her art,
yeah,
they have very, very different looks.
Well, and I'm glad this is. We've gotten a lot of female figures who have had like more like cartoony characterizations, like with CoverGirl and Zorana. So I'm glad they're actually doing some very serious artwork for a female character, because his is a lot more cartoony than hers is.
It looks like they're moving to a much more uniform style. Well, if you look, the proportions and the shapes and everything are essentially the same. It's the style of the art that's different. Basically, this looks like AI generated art, and this
but
looks
also with Torch and with Jinx, if you look at their body compared to the background, it's like a backdrop, right? Like there's no color difference on them at all.
Right.
But then when you look at Gnawgahyde, it looks like he is in like a sunny outback kind of desert.
Well, these Doc and the Night Creeper and Torch and Jinx all look like sort of a new style of art, whereas Gnawgahyde looks more like what has come before. I think this art was probably done before they switched to this style.
And Gnawgahyde looks like he's going to call you fella.
Yes, he does. Oh, he does. He looks like Seamus, doesn't he? Oh, my gosh. I just now caught that. Wow. Yeah, he really does. That's kind of great. I might just pop a Seamus head on there, and he'll just have a massive noggin. And also his Renderama is a little different. It looks more like the recent stuff that's come out.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he was supposed to have been announced a few months ago.
I think, well, Jinx's does too, though. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, because she's got the more interesting. Okay, so wait. Let's look at this a little more closely. So he has, yes, it's all digital render, but it looks more like a backdrop, like something the figure would physically be in, even though we know it's not. Jinx looks the same way. But then when we get over to the Night Creeper, well, yeah, I guess it all kind of looks like models that don't really exist. How about that? Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, except for Doc.
They all kind of look like they're in video game backgrounds, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, that's why I'm calling them renderamas.
Yeah.
Because that's, I mean, it seems clearer in some than in others. Like this one looks like, oh, maybe they actually built these little things.
Yeah, this actually looks like I could believe seeing this, that it was just miniatures that they
like
built.
how NECA does. NECA actually builds little dioramas for all of their packaging and stuff, and that's what this looks like. But I don't know. Anyway, probably spending too much time talking about that. Let's move on to, okay, I'm torn on this. It's really cool. I like it. I love the Techno Viper in the colors that match the rest of the Hiss team only by virtue of the fact that none of them really match. They're all many different shades of black and gray and red. This is cool. It looks great. But $75 for an accessory. I get it. I don't think it should be cheaper. I don't think it could be cheaper, but it's also like, man, this isn't even a thing unto itself. And I got to tell you, I was a little disappointed when it doesn't have the console.
I think it could be cheaper. They could have, to me.
And look, I am very uncomfortable complaining about prices.
Oh, true. I mean, is it fair? Yeah, I guess. Like when you take into account the figure, the rockets, I just feel like the Trouble Bubble we got for 50 something I don't feel like this has that much more plastic because
I
the
think
rockets are going to get
comparable.
reused.
I think it's
I feel like
comparable. It
60.
just doesn't have the play value.
Mm.
I mean,
Well,
that's really it.
I mean, really, this is an accessory for your hiss. That's
Right.
what this is. And that's why I couldn't pass it up, because I've got space on my shelf for this thing to
Yeah,
go
me
behind
too.
my hiss.
Me too.
Eh,
And I mean, it looks great. It looks really cool. I'm excited about it. But although I was disappointed, the control panel, why doesn't it just flip down rather than the panel piece coming off entirely? Why didn't they just put a hinge on that, like the little control panel in Spies Like Us when they're programming the rocket? Like, if they're not going to include a separate console piece, then, just a little flip down panel. Why make a separate piece?
you know what hurts worse? Is that they're going to re-release this in a year or so to go with your Vamp,
Right.
as the MMS, and it's
Right.
probably going to go up in price.
Oh
just
gosh, you're
because of
right,
general
aren't you?
inflation. So that's probably going to be $80.
Oh, and it's probably. Oh, wait. Oh, that's tough though, because I don't think you want it to come with Hawk.
I think you put short fuse on there, because what's the mortar soldier going to do?
Huh. I don't know. Or do you make it Hawk, but you give the alternate troop builder helmet, like
That-
they did with Grunt?
What an insult to make Hawk a troop builder.
Well, I mean, if you're doing that original Colonel Hawk, like,
Yeah.
he's not exactly the most standout. If they do swappable web gear where it's like, I guess they're probably not going to do silver, but
Well, I always figured, of all of the 013, who's the one that doesn't really work in any kind of modern military setting, and it's the mortar soldier. But I think if you just maybe have him become just like a missile specialist instead,
yeah,
he'd be a good pack-in for this. Because
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do another Hawk for this one.
no, yeah, I don't think Hawk is the guy to come with the MMS. I like short fuse. I like that suggestion, but I also like include troop builder parts. Craig Dukas, maybe. Rexship 85 says make it Zap. Craig Dukas says maybe the console was an afterthought. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Okay, so make it Zap. Let's think about that for a minute. Bazooka was the replacement for Zap, but now we already have Bazooka in classified, so we're going backwards with our Bazooka people. Which, by the way, we now know Bazookas aren't even really a thing. So, but that's a story for Mongoose to elaborate on some other time. Rexship 85, 25 for the year, 50 for the HMS seems fair to me. Maybe it could be $5 cheaper, but also it's really meant for his tank. And I'm not saying the price isn't fair. I'm just saying I'm not super excited about spending $75 for this. I do think the price is fair. I do see the value. Like, I get it, but it's just that price point for something that unto itself is not that exciting. And it makes me think about a lot of the stuff we've talked about, like the Bivouac and the Forward Observer and stuff, and how much they would be for things that essentially were just, well, sit there in the background of my photograph.
Those were designed so that people that didn't have a lot of money could still have toys, and that's just not the way toys work at all nowadays.
That's not the way any toys work now. I got a little art for this one, and obviously this is way further back in the line than what we're looking at now, but it is made to match the all the art surrounding the Hiss tank. So looks great. I dig it. And then finally, we got the full figure versions. So we've got big fat versions of Roadblock and Tripwire, according to my verbiage. Apparently, the actual
Roadblock and those
they're Rubenesque.
childbearing hips.
He is actually a literal roadblock now. I still love these. I think they're great. I did the pre-order roulette at Target and at Pulse. I need this set, if only to fill out my Tiger Force ranks, because I love my classified Tiger Force so much. I am going to guess neither one of you have any interest in this set.
I have the same interest I had in all the other Tiger Force toys. If this goes on super clearance, then I'll buy it.
And you're in.
Because I've I've bought like 5 or 6 different Tiger Force figures, all at like $10 to $12 a piece.
Right.
Still didn't find that Duke with the Tiger Force Ram though, at Ross.
Oh yeah. Well, now bats are popping up at Ross. The Alpha Commandos set is popping up at Ross.
One of my friends up in Kentucky said that their Ollies got restocked with Crimson Guards and all of that again.
Wow. Am I going to have to start going to Ross and Ollie's again on a 3 times a week basis?
What a nightmare.
I know.
No, I don't. I went to Ollie's like twice during all that time because there's not an Ollie's anywhere near me, and I do not like going to Ollie's.
Wreckship 85 still can't unsee the tiger stripe underwear on tripwire. I had underoos like that when I was a kid, and they had the matching shirt just like he does.
Isn't that what that look like Brian Pillman's old tights from the 80s?
Yes, he needs a vest to go with those. And then they are in the new style artwork. I do like the I guess tiger camo on Roadblock's face. I just think that's a nice extra touch.
He must have been next to Gnawgahyde whenever that large creature got him.
And then nice little diorama piece here. I like the not quite watchtower in the background.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that was all of our news from the live stream. It is now time to move on. If you are following Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram, you know the way to interact with the show is to jump on that sound off post. Every time we're doing a live stream, we will go on Audible Interlude Podcast and post a sound off for you to tell us what you want to talk about. However, if you are a member of the Audible Army at audiblearmy.com, you get first priority for the sound offs. So it is time now to jump into those comments. Tony Hoover asks, in your opinions, what is canon, comic book or cartoon? Kristian, where do you land on that?
Well, a cannon is this big metal, probably made out of iron thing that shoots balls out of it.
I think you're more likely to see cannons in the cartoon than in the comic book.
True. No, as far as with like all my toy lines, it's sort of like those are all like they all exist in their own little thing, because what the canon that I created when I played as a kid, that's the canon I go by. So I also don't canon, it's like the continuity stuff. If you get too married to it, it's just gonna cause you stress.
Yeah, it just ruins your fun.
Yeah, like marriage. No, I'm kidding.
I take what I like from wherever I see it. There are things I've incorporated from the comics, from the cartoons, from the various different comics out there. I just whatever I think is cool, is part of my headcanon. I don't find either one to be the be all end all. And I can't honestly say that I have a preference either. I mean, look, I think to the world at large, as in not the people sitting here watching a G.I. Joe live stream on Monday night, the cartoon is probably the more widely accepted and widely known canon. I'm not saying it's better or worse. I'm just saying I think when people think Yo Joe, that's what they're picturing.
Yeah, to me it was, I mean, I was like, can I just say both? Or my answer to this question is yes. Right. Cartoon. But when I was a kid, I mean, I would actually play sometimes piggybacking off of stories from the comic or from the cartoon. So like I would actually have like separate storylines in my play that weren't really even in the same universe at the time. And so, you know, I guess I guess I kind of did an amalgam of both of them ultimately. But yeah,
You know, here's what I think my answer is. I think my answer is that I used the characterizations from the comic book and I used the storytelling style from the cartoon. Next up, also from audiblearmy.com, Jonathan Childress. At this point in the line, Snake Eyes has the most variants in the classified series so far. Shocker, I know. To keep that streak going, come up with the next version of the character that you would want Lenny and crew to make. My vote would be to take that Arctic Threat Snake Eyes that came out during the Pursuit of Cobra run and just scale it up to 6 inches. I dig that one. That's the one. I think that's the one with the white coat and the white mask or visor, right?
I believe so.
That one's cool. I'm torn because after seeing that 3-0 figure that we talked about last week, that version is very interesting. It's very eye-catching, but I really, really want to see the one with the trench knives across the chest. I really want to see that in classified.
V3.
So I don't know. I'm gonna go with the red visor. That's V4, the 3-0 one.
V4 is the red, the blue with the red,
The blue
visor.
sweater with the red
the
visor.
paintball mask.
Yeah. Yes. I'm gonna go with that one. I want to see that one next.
I would say, although it's better suited for Super 7, I guess, so it's not going to be Boy George Snake Eyes. I would like to see the like mountain cabin version of Snake Eyes from the comics, where he's got his boonie hat
in his boxer shorts and his torn up shirt.
not
wait,
the most
you're not
recent
talking about
comics.
the current comics.
I'm going back to like 83, 84 on this one, but yeah, so where he's he's just hanging out in his cabin, and
Noel wants sexy Snake Eyes, sexy post-explosion.
The
Snake
accessories
Eyes.
include marinara sauce.
But I would wonder how you would do that figure with like the boonie cat covering his eyes. If you just black out this part of it, because obviously we don't want to see his eyes, because that was kind of the whole way he was depicted like that.
That's what they did on the comic pack figure. They did like some cross hatching, but I can't see that working in classified. That'd be really weird.
Well, the what is it? The X-Men '97 line, not the '80s jumpsuit Magneto, but the old school Magneto that they put out with him. They did that, where they like basically dry brushed dark like a black over his eyes,
right,
to make it look like, oh, the helmet is casting this shadow on him.
Yeah, but classified's a little more realistic-y. I don't know. Just real quick here.
We are getting Nemesis Immortal, so I don't know how much realistically we are going forward. Yes,
that's what we want from Super 7 right there.
I need that. I need to know where you found that. That's an enamel pen, right?
Yes, it is.
Oh yes,
and it's not. The camera's not focusing on it, but I'm not going to make the camera focus because last time I did that, my face was blurry for like an hour. Whoa, that's better. Jeff Butler says, what about Arctic Snake Eyes from issue number 2 with Quinn's Weasel Skull necklace? That was done as a modern figure. Yeah, it was, and that would be really cool. And but if we're going to see that, I'd like to see it in a 2-pack with Quinn. Rachel Selena says, I'd like to see Arctic Snake Eyes from Rise of Cobra and Temple Guardian Snake Eyes from Pursuit of Cobra.
I imagine we might get that version with Quinn as a 2-pack in the Super 7 O-Ring figures too.
Oh yeah, that's entirely possible. Because we have only ever gotten Safari Quinn, like in his little shorts. They haven't done an Arctic Quinn, which is how we first met him. Is that everybody? Kristian, what was your Snake Eyes?
Mine would be paintball Snake Eyes.
Okay. Nobody wants the was it pink Ninja Force Snake Eyes? What was Ninjas? Oh, hang on. This is gonna bother me now.
The Ninja Force, yeah. The one that changed colors?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, well, now wait a minute.
Uh-oh, Dave's found a rabbit hole.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
This is never good.
Whoa, Snake Eyes version 5. Looks like he's got some blue underpants on. Oh no, whoa. What is going on with this one? You guys,
Did you just find your home movies?
hang on.
Yes, that's okay. Yeah, that's the one with the that's the Ninja Force one with the action features and the bad shoulders. The shoulders that
right,
are
but the classified's not going to have that, which
Oh,
is why
I know.
Which is why I want a Ninja Force Scarlet in classified, because I like that design. I just want to see it with look at his little eyes. What is going on with his little eyes? What is this? This is a very weird fit. He's got he's got a face mask shield. This is a weird Snake Eyes. I changed my mind. I don't want this one. Let's move on. This is kind of freaking me out, actually. I don't like it.
It's like the Baron Zemo Snake Eyes.
The longer I look at it, the more disturbed I become.
Yeah, there's it is. The more you look at it, the more you notice that it's not quite human.
Like the live action Transformer movies.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Silent Interlude commented, just got done with New Jersey Collectors Con. Carson from 3D Joe's was there. Marauder Inc. was there. Contingent of the Finest was there. Some great local and semi-local vendors. If you guys are ever able to get this far north, you should check it out. While I would love to get that far north, I will say Joe Fest offers all of that as well, and I don't have to go to New Jersey for it. Not that I don't want to go to New Jersey, because I actually would very much like to get up to the Northeast, but
yeah, there's
a little easier to get to Augusta. There's
a show that takes place in September of every year called RetroCon in Oaks, Pennsylvania, and it's a show that I've been dying to go to for years. But it's like 3 weeks after Dragon Con, and it's in Pennsylvania. So there's a lot of shows up there I'd love to go to, and yeah, NJCC is one that we do get a lot of action from the Finest on usually every year.
Pennsylvania. Jeff Butler says Zurin are Snake Eyes. Yeah, I want to see a Snake Eyes who thinks who is a homeless person who has made up his own Snake Eyes costume out of trash. That's going to be my costume at Joe Fest this year, actually. Thanks for spoiling it. Wreckship 85, I think it's version 55. That's right. There are 55 or more versions of Snake Eyes. What a world. What a world. Okay. That brings us to the end of Sound Off. And that means it is time for Joe and Tell, sponsored by Slickalicious. Everybody check out gijive.com. Check out Shop Slickalicious on Instagram. Fellows, do you have Joe and Tells? All right, Kristian, I saw your head nodding first, so guess what? You're up, buddy.
Oh, right. Well, so my Joe and Tell is a little project I've been working on.
Oh, man, I'm so jealous.
So one of my old co-workers went to one of those indoor flea market things, sent me a photo and was like, hey, they have this G.I. Joe vehicle. I got it at a great price. It was missing a few things, so I've been taking my time, just kind of watching eBay auctions. The winch is there. It's just missing the hook, and the hook was supposed to arrive in the mail today. And then this morning, I got the little update thing that now it's coming tomorrow. But yeah, the mechanism works, and I really like this deco. This is the first 3 3/4 Tiger Force anything. that I own because it was younger me. This was just not a look that I liked. But adult me, the mouth, the tiny little whale eye so far back on the head, like, love it.
Well, it's like me getting that Tiger Cat last year at Joe Fest. Like, once you get that in hand and see how great the deco looks, and I know I say this all the time, but the contrast in the deco, they're beautiful toys.
And I would be lying if I didn't say that as I've been working on that one, I have been keeping my eye on the Tiger Cat.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to force myself to wait till Joe Fest, but
I know, right? Or
I
Toylanta.
think those two things would look so good on the shelf together.
Or Toylanta.
Oh, true. Yep.
That's every time I open up Mercari, I'm like, no, Toylanta's right around the corner. You cannot buy stuff online right now. It would be stupid. All right, Noel, what you got?
All right. I'm gonna attempt to do another present and share my screen on this thing. Because this was something that actually just ran across today. So I do the social media stuff for the Southern Command, which is the Georgia Garrison of the Finest. And I was working through some scheduled posts, and I was like, oh, 314, that's Pie Day. Let me see if I can find some good G.I. Joe pie puns somewhere and throw them up. So in the process of like Googling G.I. Joe pie, I wind up finding this. Okay, great. Don't show me these tips again. Share screen. Hang on, let me maximize that so that that is on the screen. I wind up seeing like, is this a real thing? And let's make it work. Here it is. Okay. Are you guys seeing this?
Oh, wait, let me change it so it's there. We go. What?
What?
And I was like, wait, what? A G.I. Joe cookbook? Let me investigate this. And I started to look at it, and I was like, are you a true fan of G.I. Joe, which is an American military science fiction action film? I was like, well, that's how I would certainly describe G.I. Joe. Are you a real foodie who's into cooking and craving unique and creative recipes? If the answer is yes, this G.I. Joe cookbook is definitely what you have been looking for. So, of course, you scroll down a little bit, and then you can see. I was like, okay, I have to see if there's reviews. There was one customer review. It is 1 out of 5 stars, 1 rating. And I was curious. So I said, well, let me look at this author.
I bet they have a lot of branded cookbooks.
So Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom cookbook. Frida Kahlo cookbook. Yes. Jason Momoa. Another Frida Kahlo. More Jurassic World, Jackie Kennedy, more Frida Kahlo. There's another G.I. Joe cookbook. So not just one, but there are multiple G.I. Joe cookbooks to choose from.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, and of course,
wait, go back up. Is that a Fantastic Planet?
There is a Fantastic Planet one, yes.
What is
and then
happening?
The one that is sure to get them sued out of oblivion at some point in time is the Avengers Infinity War one. So I was like, is there just an infinite number? No, there's like 5 properties: Fantastic Planet, Jurassic World, or there's some Power Rangers in, and then James Dean
cookbook. You gonna get that for Terry?
Yeah, I should. So yeah, that's it. That's the extent of it. So it's like 6 or 7 different properties, including Jackie Kennedy, Frida Kahlo. So I thought for a moment I'd come across like something wonderful to review for a future Joe and Tell, but it's like nope. This is going to be the Joe and Tell. Is just the existence of this thing.
I think you have found. I think this is the weirdest thing we've seen on this show so far.
And it wouldn't be so surprising if there were just many other properties here besides Jurassic World. Jason Momoa.
How do you get like 5 cookbooks out of Frida Kahlo? Like,
well, I have a sneaking suspicion that every one of these books is identical on the inside.
Right. Yeah.
Well, good find, Noel. Everybody head on over to Amazon and get yourselves some licensed bootleg or not licensed, completely bootleg cookbooks. That was fantastic. All right, the moment is here. It is time now for a little giveaway. We have a copy of the Toy Collector's Wish Book. If you did not watch my review of this right here on the Needless Things YouTube channel, what this is somebody has, the author has cataloged several toy lines from the 80s. This edition includes Clash of the Titans, The Adventures of Indiana Jones, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, The A-Team, Rambo, The Forces of Freedom, Chuck Norris Karate Commandos, and Robin Hood Prince of Thieves. And it is a catalog of the entire line for each of those. And they have also done wish book style photography alongside images. Look at that. All of the Fortress of Fang stuff. And I'm not flipping to any of the wish book style pages. I'm not doing very well here. But you can see tons of information inside about the toy lines, about various tie-in licensed products. Look at that. Remember those? Those O-Ring A-Team figures? So this book is
worth a fortune now. And you see
there you go. So this book is incredible. If you do not win it tonight, I highly recommend you order it. Retro Toy Quest is the company that is putting it out. Volume 2 is currently available for pre-order, but it's a beautiful hardcover book. Hours of entertainment in there and nostalgia. So if anybody would like a free copy of that book, tell me, first person in the chat to tell us the date of our Toylanta panel will get a free copy of this book. And we'll cover the shipping and everything. You'll just have to get your address to us, probably through Instagram. Will be the easiest way to do it. Come on, chat. I know somebody wants a free book. While we're waiting for that, or they have no idea, they weren't paying attention when we talked about when the Toylanta panel was. That's entirely possible. So while we're pondering that, Wotaj, Galoob is not the correct answer, Wotaj. Our toy panel is not Galoob. Oh, Kevin Riddle, so close, but not quite. Kevin Riddle said March 13th.
Speaking of Retro Toy Quest, I do have some more information.
Oh, look at that!
Nice. Because I have bought several of their prints.
Kevin Riddle, I think this is the second time you have been very, very close to an answer, but have not gotten the proverbial cigar. I feel like there was another one like this that you didn't. You were almost there, but not quite. All right. Well, if we don't get a correct response in the next minute or so here, we'll wrap it up and we'll do a giveaway probably on Instagram. Kevin Riddle's just going to keep going until he gets to the date.
Let's think about how days of the week
March 14th is his next guess. Valiant effort, Kevin Riddle. We will continue with our sign off. Oh, Redfin01, congratulations. March 23rd. Although don't put the question mark in. Be assertive. Make a statement. Have some certainty. But yes, Redfin01, you are the winner March 23rd at 12:30 p.m. at the Peachtree Hilton outside of Atlanta. That is when you will be able to see Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast, live and perhaps obtain your very own itty bitty ditty bag. Matter of fact, I will throw an itty bitty ditty bag in with that copy of the book. So Redfin01, there you go, Redfin01, March 23rd with multiple exclamation points. You will be getting that book along with an itty bitty ditty bag. So you'll be the first one besides me to own one of those. So head over to Audible, Redfin01, head over to Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram and shoot me a message with your info, and I'll ship that thing out ASAP. And with that, that's all the show we've got for you this week. Kristian, why don't you tell us where we can find that toy photography you do so well?
You can find me on Instagram and Flickr.com under the name Legion Cub.
And Noel, why don't you tell us a little bit about The Finest?
The Finest is an international G.I. Joe costuming club, and we will be also at Toylanta on March 23rd and 24th, and probably a little bit before the night before as well on the 22nd, at least getting set up. We'll be raising money for a great organization called Canines for Warriors, so come by, check us out, throw a few bucks our way, and you'll get some cool swag perhaps in return.
Wreckship85, he is woohooing. He is indeed woohooing. No boohooing, just woohooing. And of course, check out audiblearmy.com. For $1.99 a month, there is only one tier. You get my show notes before each episode is released, early and ad-free access to all audio episodes, exclusive video access to recordings of audio episodes, early access to all G.I. Joe and G.I. Joe adjacent reviews on the Needless Things YouTube channel, the opportunity to vote for content on the show, and early access to Audible Interlude merch. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us here tonight. We love sitting and talking about G.I. Joe, whether we've got specific news or we're just rambling on about the history of Joe. It's one of our favorite things to do. Noel and Kristian, you guys, I love seeing you every Monday when we get together. Until next time, yo, Joe.
Cool.